Hello everybody, welcome to Nostalgia Goggles. I'm Chris, also known as the Retro Gaming Nerd. And today we're going to be talking about Capcom vs. SNK. Now, here's the thing, I absolutely love fighting games, but I'm more on the casual side. So I can't really tell you about like the frame rates or the character does this to do that or the special move in this game is this. Yeah, no, that's not really me. As you can tell from the show, I'm more of us of asking the question, does it still hold up, or is it worth playing today? And that's really it. So with that being said, let's find out.
It's showtime!
Surprisingly enough, the story is very weak in this game. There isn't really much to be there. The most that I could really get is that Ken from Street Fighter and Robert Garcia from Art of Fighting put aside their differences and actually decided to hold a tournament. That's really all that we could get from this game, and that's really surprising because Street Fighter has a pretty deep story and SNK has a really deep story in their fighting games. So it's kind of odd that this one doesn't have it. I really don't have much to say about it, so with that being said, let's talk about the gameplay.
It all depends on your skill!
Capcom vs. SNK is a tag team fighting game like other Capcom crossover fighting games. For the most part, the gameplay is more like SNK games, which is very accommodating considering the fact that this game was developed by Capcom. However, this game does not neglect its Street Fighter roots, and it is a perfect combination of both styles of gameplay. This balance is achieved through the groove system. When you select your character, you have a choice between using Capcom Groove and an SNK Groove. The Capcom Groove makes the gameplay more like Street Fighter Alpha, and the SNK Groove makes the gameplay more like King of Fighters during the Orochi Saga. Now, this is an unusual tag team game because it runs on a ratio system. Each character receives a number value between 1 and 4. And you can pick any set of characters as long as it doesn't go higher than 4. Unlike most crossover games, you cannot switch characters like in Marvel vs. Capcom. In this game, each character you play as counts as a round, which encourages you to think strategically about your team lineup. Speaking of characters, there are secret characters and secret stages. You can unlock the characters by earning points to buy them in the secret shop by playing the game. With all that being said, let's see if this game holds up to today's standards.
Nobody blink!
Capcom vs. SNK takes after the Capcom art style of the time, which is for the best. At this time, the two companies had distinctly different art styles, but the SNK cast blends in seamlessly. From their special moves to their victory poses, the fighters look incredible. Not to mention, sometimes you can get fun character interactions. One of my favorite things about fighting games is their backgrounds. The backgrounds are important to tell you about the world and the tone of the game, and the ones in Capcom vs. SNK are amazing. What is also amazing is how the backgrounds are introduced. From a tragic car crash to a dojo being built, these transitions are a great way to set a mood, although I can see where some people might lose patience with how long they take. Luckily, these can be skipped. Last but not least, let me not forget to talk about the music, which is phenomenal. The soundtrack definitely sounds like Capcom games of the time. Now, I'm not really a music guy, so I can't get into the nuances of how it sounds and all that stuff, but I can tell you that it is amazing. So with that being said, let's get into the accessibility, because you need to be able to buy the game if you want to play the game.
Go for broke!
So the English version of this game goes somewhere between $60 and $100 on eBay. The Japanese Dreamcast version goes for about $30. Due to this being a fighting game, you can most likely feel your way through it. And if you're interested in getting Capcom vs. SNK for the PlayStation, you can get Capcom vs. SNK Pro. This version of the game has 4 new stages and all of the secret characters unlocked right off the bat. And you get 2 of the most important characters in Capcom and SNK history. Joe Higashi and Dan Hibiki, of course. The Pro version on the PS1 usually goes for about $35 loose, or $80 in box if you're lucky. Or you could always pick up the exclusive Japanese Dreamcast release of Capcom vs. SNK, but you won't really be saving any money. Most listings on eBay go for about $60 to $80. And for all you crazy people out there, the arcade board goes for about $800, which, until said otherwise, I'm going to be talking about arcade boards on this game. I feel like they're a valid way to play this game, and I feel like there are just definitely some collectors that might want to know this information. Most likely already do, but hey, you know what? I feel like it's a nice thing to know. With that being said, let's get on with the goods and the bads.
Triumph or die!
So there are so many things about this game that are good that I might forget a few. I guess that the biggest thing that this game has going for it, besides it being a beautiful game with buttery smooth gameplay, is how much of a love that it is to both franchises. There are so many references to both Capcom and SNK here. It's so much fun finding cameos or watching interactions between your favorite characters. Another thing that's good is how smoothly this game plays. You'd expect a combination like this to be a little bit rough, but it isn't. Also, the backgrounds and the music are great, but I've already talked about those.
You lose.
So to be honest with you, the bads in this game are not really that bad, they're more of nitpicks. So with that being said, this game is loaded with secrets and hidden characters to unlock. But it definitely is a huge pain. You have to buy them through the secret shop, and it takes forever to earn the points. And another problem is more of a distribution problem. For instance, there is no other way to really play this game. There's no collection, there's not really anything else besides the original way to play it. This is going to be a common problem for this show. With that being said, let's go to the final thoughts.
Go for it, man!
So the question is, does Capcom vs. SNK still hold up today? The answer is yeah. The only thing that's really holding this game back is two very minor things that the game itself really doesn't have to deal with. For instance, the price of the game, which just held its value, and also the fact that there's no modern way to play this game that I know of. I mean, there is, but can't really talk about that. But outside of that, yeah, the game holds up from the presentation to the actual gameplay to just pretty much everything. It's still a great game to play. Now, yeah, its sequel is better, and I'm definitely gonna get to that because that game is like a literal blessing, and I just can't wait to get to it. I'll get to it later. Anyways, with that being said, yes, this game most definitely holds up, and it's definitely worth your time if you're into fighting games. With that being said, I'll see you guys next time on Nostalgia Goggles. Bye.